jumping on. We're going to wait a few minutes here and let some other people get in, but excited to talk about AI and capital raising and everything that has to go with that. So we're going to give it a few more minutes and then we'll get started here. All right, looks like a few more people are jumping on. We'll get started here in just a minute or so. All right. I'll say hi real quick on video. I'm Dawson. We are Raise Launch, and today we're going to be diving into AI-powered capital raising. So with that being said, I'm going to turn off video for a little bit and let that save the bandwidth, but we'll dive right in. So I'm super excited about AI. I don't know if you use it on a daily basis, but I wanted to jump in real quick, just a little bit of who we are and what we do. So my partner Nicole and I, this is our agency. We've been in the capital raise marketing space for 20 plus years. Done everything from $150 million Reg Ds down to $1 million Reg CFs, everything in between. And so just wanted to take a second and walk through a little bit of who we are and what we do and set up the reason why we're jumping into AI. So feel free to take a look at this deck later. It's got sample work, some different things that you can look at in terms of what we do and why we do it. But as we're talking today about capital raising, so a lot of different industries are being affected by capital raising, and I'm going to actually go through and show real world examples. So I want to kind of fly through these slides that just talk about kind of our thesis on where capital raises in general is going with AI. And then I want to jump in and show some actual use cases and how we use AI on a daily basis and how we think you can too. So real quick. So really every aspect of capital raising, the challenges that come with it, from finding investors, follow-ups, compliance, marketing, everything can be impacted and affected by capital raising. So, and by AI. So with that, everything from finding investors on either paid media or follow-ups through the CRM drip campaign, or compliance, or looking at how you're telling your story through marketing and using AI to really impact that is huge when it comes to AI. And really, it doesn't matter what type of raise you're doing. So a lot of people get worried about, well, can I even use AI for a certain type of exemption, or how do I use AI for Reg D versus Reg A versus Reg CF? Anything that you're doing in terms of storytelling, content creation, looking at data, looking at analytics, it all can be highly impacted in a positive way by AI. And so, with that being said, as we go into, kind of actual tools and takeaways, you might write down a few of these. And I don't know, I would love to know, in the chat, how often you use AI. If it's something, we probably have people on here that use it every single day. We probably have others that have never used it. And so here's just a few of my favorite tools. And so you can write those down. I'm going to show a few of those here in just a little bit. But it's super helpful to kind of get your own stack going. There's a lot of tools out there. And really on that note, there's a lot of tools that do the same thing. And so you might have, for example, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Google, Gemini, all these different tools. There's a lot of them that do very similar things. Claude. The key is finding one that works for you. So I will say there are certain tools that work specifically for certain type of applications, meaning, if I was going to use AI to build code and I was going to use it to build an app, Claude tends to do a little bit better than, say, ChatGPT. So when it comes to writing, ChatGPT seems to do a little bit better. So there's a lot of reasons why, you want to find the right tools for you. So with that being said, really there's a lot of different ways you can use AI. This goes through a few of them in terms of automating investor outreach. You can use AI to help with pitch decks and emails and personalization of those emails. You can use it for multi-touch follow-ups to increase conversions, AI chatbots on your website that you upload documents to, which we're going to show a little bit of here in just a second. But using that as an FAQ tool to where AI literally is an IR person on your website, where it's looked at your PPM, it's looked at all of your offering documents. It knows, basically the generic information that you're wanting to provide investors. And you can use that as a tool to help tell your story and really educate investors in the process. So, there's also different ways to use AI for investor messaging and pitch optimization, powered landing page. This is really interesting. So this is just my own thesis of where I think this is going, where I think AI is going. I think in 2025, we're going to have a new tool come out that can generate an AI website that looks just as good as if you were to pay an agency to do it. We're not there yet. I scour and I'm on all the newsletters on AI. I'm constantly looking at the newest tools, playing with them. We're not quite there yet where I can literally say, hey, I have a real estate fund. I love the look of apple.com and nike.com. Here's some sample content that I want to provide. And then boom, it spits out a funnel and a landing page and a website that looks really, really solid. There's some tools out there that get close, but definitely not quite as polished as what I would like to see. So that's just my own, kind of summary of where I think AI is headed. I also think when it comes to landing pages, where we are headed in the near future, I don't know if it will be this year or not. Where we are headed in the near future is, if I'm a 39-year-old that loves soccer and coffee and lives in Austin, Texas, I go to your website, I go to your landing page, and I'm going to see things that reflect that. So I might see a background that's a soccer stadium. I might see, verbiage and content around being a father of three. Someone else might go to that same exact website URL and see a completely different message, completely different imagery, all tailored to you based on AI. I think that's where we're headed. And I think it's going to be here very, very soon. So anyway, going through this, just real quick to kind of touch on, final thoughts and takeaways from this. Then I want to jump into showing some examples and kind of having some fun walking through how we're using AI. But just as a note, AI is not going to replace investor relations. It's not going to be a one-click fund and you literally click a button and you're raising capital. There's always going to be the need to have some type of interaction with your investors. Now, can AI help and assist in that? Absolutely. Can it make it easier, faster? Yes. I do believe that it's not going to replace investor relations. It is just going to enhance it. I also believe that using AI and automation is going to greatly increase the speed at which you can raise capital, meaning I can get a fund up and running. I can get the website running. I can get a webinar running. I can get video content. I can do all of that used to take months and months and months and potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars, and do it much faster, much quicker, much cheaper. And then I truly believe that every single founder needs to be using AI, even if it's as simple as using ChatGPT to help with email, by putting in an email that you write, telling it to write it better, more professional. There's little things you can use AI that make a big difference. And I think that's where we are. So with that, I do want to walk through some different things. I love AI. I'm a huge fan of it. It's super fun. And so I'm going to share my screen. So let's share. Let's go over here. I'm going to share my window over here. Should pop up. Perfect. So the first thing that I wanted to show and I'm just kind of going through my own personal capital raise stack. So this is a very informal webinar in the sense that, I just want to show you a little bit of what I use on a daily basis. and how to use it, and then obviously show you a couple ways that we're utilizing AI as well, with capital raising, that I think is really helpful. So with that being said, midjourney.com, if you're not familiar with it, like I said, there's tools out there that can be used for everything. And I personally believe that Midjourney right now is creating the best image creation for AI. So as an example, let's just say I have a real estate fund, and let's make it really specific. So, I want a real estate image that is isometric and white background. Now, the key to note here is AI is not perfect. So what I'm about to get is, this is all live. I have no clue what's about to get spit out. It takes time, and it takes troubleshooting, and it takes a little bit of effort to get close to what you want. Now, this is actually extremely close to what I would actually want for a graphic. So if I'm thinking about a real estate fund website and I want an isometric graphic, you might have seen these on some other sites. You can go in here and select which one you want. But let's say I am a single family rental. This is maybe a little bit closer to what I want. I like the car out front. I can go in here and click very subtle, very strong. And what it's going to do is it's going to take what it created and just create very subtle changes or very strong changes to it. So what I would do and what I recommend is, this is not a one click and you're done. This is an experiment. This is, you play with it to get it exactly how you want it. Now, once again, these images that I first started with were very close to what I would actually want, but you can see here, it's starting to create different images. Now, let's say I go in here and this is my prompt. I want it to actually be a gradient background. And let's say I want to make sure that there is with a dog. Now I have, once again, this is live. I have no idea what it's going to spit out. I kind of am doing this on purpose to show you sometimes you're going to get something that you're not really looking for, and that's okay. But it's all about the prompting. So right now I changed it to see, okay, this is perfect. So this right here, this image over here with the dog is not what I wanted. These two, I would say, this one and this one are very close to what I want. So I would continue to play with that and work with that. So if you have investors that are dog friendly, just as a very, very specific example, then this is something you could play with. So, and that's where I think it's going to get very, very, very specific to your investor, to where they feel comfortable looking at your site, they feel comfortable looking at your materials, and they feel drawn in and feel like they can relate to you. So, I mean, these up here, very good. I would say those are close. So let's jump into a different tool. So Runway ML. So runwayml.com. So this is, really interesting. And actually, just to give you a real world example, I'm going to go back here. Let's grab this one. I'm going to download that image. So I've downloaded that image. Now, earlier I created an image. You'll actually see here. So I'm over in Runway, but if I scroll down, you'll see pump jack. So I was messing with, let's say I had an oil and gas fund, put in a pump jack here. So if I go over to Runway ML, I put in that image, I run the prompt, and this is what it spits out. Now, am I going to use this, for, a Super Bowl commercial? Probably not. However, this is pretty good for B-roll. So instead of paying for, honestly, if you get really good iStock B-roll footage, I mean, you're looking at sometimes $200 a clip. You can use Runway ML to actually generate these different images. So let's just say, I'm going to drag and drop just to give you a real life example. It takes just a little bit of time to generate, but you'll see. So, okay, there's my image. I'm going to crop it. I'm going to generate. So now it's in the queue, it's generating. Now, video more than photography, I would say, is going to be really sensitive in terms of, I don't know if I'm going to get what I want. So I have to go through and give it prompting, tell it, maybe I would have said, hey, from an aerial view, spin around the house and, basically give me that type of video footage. So we'll see what it does. Once again, this is all live. So you're with me here to see what happens. It could be very strange. Sometimes it pumps out very odd things. So that's pretty good. So you can see here, if you can see my screen really well, it took that image and it did this. So that is, I mean, honestly, I would use this in a real Instagram reel for, if I was doing single family rentals, I could put text over the top of it, put some music behind it. What used to take, I mean, honestly, if you were to hire a motion graphic designer to build this exact same thing, you're talking, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I just generated that on the fly. So those are two tools that midjourney.com, Runway ML, all very, very good tools. I'll fly through this and then go into the one more thing that I wanted to talk through. But so 11labs.io, here's another example of a tool that I use very often. It's got all these different voices. You can create podcasts. So actually, if I go in here, you can you could use ChatGPT. So just to kind of give you the workflow, I could go into ChatGPT. I can upload my pitch deck, my investor pitch deck. I can then tell it, based on this pitch deck, create a 2-person podcast that dives into this. I then take that from ChatGPT, I upload it into 11 Labs, I select the 2 voices that I want to use, and now I'm generating a podcast that talks back and forth. So I'm not going to do it live. If you want to see an example, feel free to email me. I'm happy to send you some examples of what that actually looks like. But it's pretty amazing. But outside of that, let's say I create, just some other use cases for this. Let's say I create a webinar. I could use that to generate the voiceover for the webinar. If I don't feel comfortable speaking on that webinar, if I want to, maybe have a British voice, if I'm advertising overseas. So once again, I just want you to think through the different ways that you can use this. And so another tool that I'm a fan of is Notebook LM. So if you go to Notebook LM, it's pretty interesting. You can create a new one. You can upload all these different sources over here. Once you add the sources, then you can do things. Once again, this is a deep dive conversation tool podcast. You can create FAQs. Pretty fun to mess with. So with that, I did want to show, one of the tools we have is this studio at Raise Launch. And so we've taken all the different prompts that we use, and I just want to show you, you're going to get, if you're on this webinar, you're going to get free access to play around with this. And so at the end, I'm going to give you my direct email and phone number. And if you want access to this, just shoot me a text. And actually, that's probably the best way so it doesn't get lost. So I'm going to give you my number at the end of this. If you want access to this, we're going to be releasing it at the end of this week, and would love for you to get on, play around with it, and let us know what you think. But so yeah, if you want free access, then just stick around for a little bit longer, and I'll give you my number and you can text me. So real quick, so let's say, one of the things that our agency does is these storytelling workshops where we interview the founders, any shareholders. We have a very specific way we go about that, but I'm just going to show you real quick exactly what we do and how we do it. So storytelling workshop. So right now it's uploading into the system. We have very, very detailed prompts, and no matter what you're using for AI, I just want you to know the prompts and how you communicate to AI is incredibly important. So if I tell AI, hey, I want an email, it's going to pump out an email, but it might have nothing to do with what I want. If I tell it I want an email that's this long, that talks about this, that has this many bullet points, the more details you give it, the better. So right now, I'm going to generate this storytelling workshop. So it is a tone and brand guide. It gives me the do's and don'ts of investor communication. It's looked at that entire transcript. That was a little bit of I think it was a 90-minute long storytelling workshop that we did with the founders. It gives me confusion points that the investors might have. It gives me areas to elaborate on. It gives me example headlines and subheadlines. It gives me, once again, the do's and don'ts. So what I should say to investors, what I shouldn't say to investors. But what's really cool is let's say I like that, I can obviously copy and paste that into a Google Doc, share it with the team. But then I can actually click this, and let's say I want to communicate with it about the brand and tone guide. then I can just say, please give me some more samples of headlines and sub-headlines. Hit submit. So it's going to start diving into that based on the prompting that's, coded into the back engine. And here we go. So here's some more headline samples, sub-headline samples, all aligned with my brand and tone guide. So it's all exactly what I want it to be from that storytelling workshop. It's got it saved as memory. I can easily like that so that it knows that I liked it. I can copy and paste that. Same thing here, like pitch deck outline. I can go in here. Let's say I upload that same storytelling workshop. I'm going to let it load. It's going to, as soon as it loads, what it's going to do, it's going to spit out a pitch deck outline. Now, some of these are meant to be tools. So once again, it's not like I'm putting this in, pressing go, and it's spitting out my full pitch deck. There are tools that do that. I would argue, I don't think they're that great. They're pretty, templatey. You can tell a lot of times that it was done that way. What this particular tool is meant to do is just give you an outline. So it gives you a starting place. So instead of trying to figure out, okay, how in the world am I going to tell my story and where should I, focus on and what should the slides be? This just gives me a good outline to focus on. So it gives me, typically 3 bullet points that I really need to dive into and outline here. So that's one example. You can see all the different tools that are in here, investor personas generators, personal founder stories. So like if I click on that, this goes into quite a bit of detail that spits out a personal founder story that can be used as a blog or anything that you want to. Landing page copy generation, investor pitch deck script writing. But let's say I go in here to social media. So for the social media post generator, so let's say, just to give you a real world example, let's do this. Let's go WeFunder. So there's obviously lots of raises at WeFunder. I'm going to select a random one. I'm going to copy that URL. So let's say we're Rise Robotics. I have no tie to them at all. They're not a client, not raising for them, just as a disclaimer. So I've taken their investor landing page. So anyone could do this with this tool. Taking their investor landing page. I want LinkedIn, an Instagram post. Are there any additional topics or information you want? No. I mean, I could put in here that we're closing the fund soon or something like that, closing the offering soon, but let's submit this. So I could go in here every Monday, put in new content, grab the website. It's going to go in here and it's grabbing, it looked at that entire investor landing page and it's giving me all my, let's say I need to post 3 times that week. It just gave me all my Instagram post, all my LinkedIn post. It gave me suggested hashtags based on SEO. It gives me not just, really not just like fluff information. It's actually giving me good information that is on that investor landing page. Now you might be saying, well, do I just use that investor landing page over and over and over again? No, you can upload emails, you can upload pitch decks, you can upload videos. If you're a founder, or if you work for someone that is going to do a webinar, you could upload that. So there's lots of ways to produce all this content. Let's just show a few more examples. We're coming up on time, but I do want to show you a couple more. So let's do this again. Let's do a random. Let's go explore. Let's do, what is this? Some type of crypto thing. Once again, not my company, not someone I'm working for, raising for, but just want to show you a real life example. So I can upload my investor pitch deck. I can upload any type of file. I can, once again, put in WeFunder, just like my investor URL. And this is where it gets kind of fun. So let's say if I'm doing a, Instagram video or something, maybe I want my script to be 30 seconds long. Maybe it's a video that I'm putting together for my landing page. So let's say we want a 60-second video. And for this one, we'll go professional, but I can choose any type of, I could do something funny. I can do casual, clever, professional. So we'll submit this. And then once again, this is meant to be a tool. So this is meant to help kind of fast forward your creative thinking. So you can see here, it's given me not only the voiceover script. So, are you ready to revolutionize the world of trading? Meet Swap Block, crypto's first autonomous trading network. If you look at this, landing page and you compare the video script, it's going to hit all the high points. It even gives you ideas for B-roll footage. It gives you ideas for what to cut to, closing, call to action screen with logo, website link. So it gives you the script. Now, like I showed earlier, you could take this script, throw it into 11 Labs. Now you've got the voiceover, use Midjourney to create some of these images, and you're you're so close to having a full video production and very little time. So that's the video script. Let's see, what else can we show real quick? Closing email sequence. Yeah, I'll show this super quick. So let's do, once again, just to do something a little bit different. I have no tie to these guys. They are raising on WeFunder. It's public. So let's go this. Let's say we're closing. Are they actually closing soon? Let's see. No, I don't think they're closing soon. Anyway, we'll pretend they are. So let's say we're closing February 15th, 2025. It's currently, the AI is scanning that entire page. Once again, if I uploaded a pitch deck or anything like that, it would do that. So then I submit. This is my closing email sequence generator. It's going through and creating. So it's got 3 emails that it's creating. It's touching back on key offering highlights. It's giving me all the copy, final call, time is running out, as we approach our closing date. Now, once again, I can't stress this enough. This is not meant to just copy and paste into your email platform. This is meant to just help you speed things up. So you can take this, you can take these emails, tweak them, update them, however you want to, but it's going to help you. I mean, and you can even, let's say, it's created those. Let's say I need one more email that focuses on webinar invite. So you can go in here and basically prompt it to be like, hey, all those 3 were really great. However, I need one more that really focuses on webinar creation, or I'm sorry, webinar invite. So you can see here, it's got, join our exclusive webinar, you're invited, here's the webinar details, so on and so forth. So let's see, anything else I want? Okay, this is going to be super quick, but I do want to show this. So this is where analytics gets really interesting. So let's say I want to upload my fake investor data. I did not want real investor data floating around in terms of screen sharing on a public webinar. So this is all fake investor data, but it is normal data that would be inside of your CRM. So for example, name, email, phone number, how much they've invested, all that typical information. Now, I can submit this on my investor data analytics inside of Raise Launch Studio. It is going to pump out a couple things. So I can see here my investor distribution by state. I can see high value investors. I can see investment timing trends. And so it gets really interesting really fast. So as an example, let me go back up here. So I can see top 3 states, California, New York, Texas. Shocker. If you've raised capital, you probably have noticed that. Top 3 cities, LA, New York, Houston. So what does that tell me? As a marketing team, I look at that and go, okay, well, let's figure out how we utilize that. Investment size overview has all my investment documented here in terms of 15% are large investments, 70% medium. My investment source. So this was inside that spreadsheet was just a UTM source that said, basically, okay, someone's battery is about to die. They want my phone number. Here, I'm going to post my phone number right now. I think I just posted it privately, but let me post it public. All right, there's my cell phone. Please text me if you want access to this. So there's my cell phone. Text me if you want access. I've only touched the surface. I mean, to look here, like it shows based on when they invested, peak investment periods, April through June, accounting for 40% of total investments. What's that tell me? I better get my marketing in order because based on previous trends, we need to raise April through June. So, and here it gave me, recommended strategies for improved engagement, enhanced communication, leverage referrals. I can dive into this and ask it for examples. So, for example, let's just say leverage referrals. Maybe it noticed that a lot of my investments had referrals as the UTM source. So, give me some ideas for investor referrals. Now, obviously, from a compliance standpoint, this depends on what type of raise you're doing, and so you have to take that into account. So this is not meant to be your attorney, and so there's going to spit out things that sometimes just aren't going to work. So, but I can take that and look at it and say, okay, success stories or in-person events or personalized communication, anniversary rewards. Maybe I give bonus shares. So there's just some different things I can do with that. But that being said, that is all I have right now. I know we're up at time. Happy to send over some more information on this. But like I said, my number is in the window right here on the chat. It's 817-933-7408. You can text me that you want access to it. 817-933-7408. So if you text me, I'll shoot you access when we open this up for public later this week. Like I said, there is a ton of stuff in here, and I hope like I love AI. I've been in the capital raise space forever, but there's tons of tools you can use, and it's just a matter of learning to play with them. If you have any questions about AI, feel free to let us know. Look forward to talking soon. So thanks, Joseph. Appreciate it. Thanks, Derek. But yeah, that's it. Hope everyone has a great day, and we'll talk soon.